Hello and welcome to Asia Rugby's Match Officials Corner. We are going to talk about the new law which will be implemented by the World Rugby. It is all about the welfare-driven laws. To talk about these five laws, I have three special guests. Let me introduce without any further ado Mr. Dilroy Fernando, fondly known as Dillo, who is a World Rugby educator and also coach of match officials in Asia Rugby. And we got Palak Podar from India, who is the up and coming referee in Asia Rugby. And also we have Leo Chuan from Hong Kong, another coach of match officials who has joined to talk about this. Lady and gentlemen, very good evening to you all.
Good evening from Sri Lanka.
I think they all mute. Thank you, Dilo. If you can first up, Dilo, can give an overview of these law changes and how impactful it's going to be in terms of players' welfare is concerned.
Yeah, Sabir, the World Rugby introduced initially as an experimental law variation in July 2021, and they trialed out from August 2021. These are basically welfare-focused rugby experimental law variations, and the process they had a lot of people involved, especially mainly the players, the coaches, match officials, medics, and the competitions. And now the World Rugby has decided the laws will be formally operational from 1st of July 2022. And interestingly, Asia Rugby, when we had the Division 2 competition, ARFT Division 2, ARC Division 2 in Pakistan, we played based on the previous laws, but the competition which will be held in Kyrgyzstan in weeks' time from now, Asia Rugby Division 3, will use the new laws which have been introduced by the World Rugby as an operation from 1st July 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been tried and tested. If Palak can explain us the first law, which is 5022, what does it about?
Thank you, Sabir, and good evening to everyone. So, the first law is basically telling us that the team which is in possession of the ball, if they kick the ball from inside their own half into touch into the opponent's 22, which is an indirect kick, then the kicking team gets the ball in the resultant line out. Um, the things to note here is that the ball cannot be passed back or carried back into the defensive half. It must originate into the defensive half. So, can we have a look at a clip as well for this?
Grant going to Newsom. Fields a return pass and then loads up and knocks it.
So, in the clip, we observed that the scrum originated from the white team's own half, and the number 9 white kicked it out indirectly into blue's touch, and hence the resultant line out was white. We also need to note here is that in case of kickoffs and restart kicks, the 50-22 cannot be applied.
And it not necessarily from the set pieces like scrum and lineout. It has can happen even from a breakdown, a broken play, Dilroy.
Yeah, that's right. The Sabir, the Palak just explained the very reason why World Rugby created this was mainly because you find that the top rugby playing nations, they all pressurize the attacking team. All 14 players, sometimes you see them, in the defense line. So now, good old days, we have seen box kicks, the diagonal kicks, various type of kicks. So now, what World Rugby has done is by introducing it, there'll be more space when you have two players falling back. So both wingers, if they fall back, obviously there'll be more space for the attacking team to make advance. So other reason is when you have the defense falling back, the attacking team will have the option, if they're up, to chip or go for 50-22, or else make use of it and run the ball. So
Absolutely.
it'll be more ball in play and run and pass game.
Absolutely, and also, yeah, it also means that two of the wingers have to go back in terms of protecting those two lines, not
Expecting
allowing
in
that.
case if there's a kick. Yes.
Wonderful, Leo. If you can if you can talk us through the next law, which is goal line dropout. We have seen this in the trial version if many of our viewers are following rugby in the northern hemisphere and the southern. But if you can just describe what this law means.
Okay, thank you, Xavier. Good evening, everyone. This is a new law. It's pretty new law for us. So there's three conditions for the goal line dropout. The first one is when the attacking team carry the ball into opponent's in goal and be held, the attacking team cannot ground it.
Some room around that.
Let's check the clip.
Some room around that ruck. He's found it. He's hard to put down. He's a big halfback, Rudy. Rumble sword. The line crowd go up. But he's held up underneath, and it's a goal line dropout.
Yeah, a lot better from the Blues.
Goal line
Kicking
dropout.
first from Stephen Peddle-Fetzer, getting them into that 40-metre channel. But the build-up...
Rugby Oldfield was. Ledger goes shallow for the...
Okay, the second one is our attacking team not gone in goal. Let's check the video, please.
Sarto slides by the tackle of Nick Grigg. Sarto, can he get there? Oh! Did he get there?
It's knock on in goal, so it's a...
He's dropped it.
No, it's a goal line dropout.
Decisive from Marius Maitreya. Goal line dropout. Glasgow.
Okay, the last one is when the attacking team kick the ball into opponent's in goal and be grounded by defending team. So let's check the video again.
Now Monga with the kick, kicks long, and this one's rolling and rolling and rolling, and it's going to be forced. It'll be a goal line dropout.
Goal line dropout.
Oh, good kick from Monga. He knew exactly what he was doing there.
Great bit of weight on that. TJ, 15 seconds, or less than 10 now.
Well,
let's go, Jordan.
I'm quite certain he knew that he was playing for a goal line dropout there and a chance to get the ball back. And Geordie Barrett will kick this for all it's worth. High tower.
Okay, for the goal line dropout, the kicking team must on or behind the goal line, and the ball must be kicked over the 5-meter line. There's a line, 5-meter line we call the sanctioning line, and the non-kicking team must be behind the 5-meter line.
Yeah, clear. Leo, so you explained it very clearly with video evidence, and the main reason for the World Rugby introduced this was because we see one after the other, you have scrums, 5-meter scrums, because the attacking team advances, and if they're not able to ground the ball clearly, then it will end up in having a scrum put in for the attacking team. So why these have been introduced is so that, again, ball in play will be more, and to avoid having too many scrums for the attacking team, so that the defending team will have a drop kick and the attacking team will receive the ball again, and they could counterattack from there. So there will be more ball in play with this new law.
Absolutely, yeah. Not engaging in the scrum and just allowing more time. But this is quite tricky, Dilo. The thing is, I have seen in a couple of Northern Hemisphere games, when they do the 22 in-goal dropout, Jonathan Sexton, he catches the ball and he goes for drop goal. So your players have to be smart enough not to kick for a fly half or a fullback, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, maybe use the corners and not to the center. So if you kick to the center, you could have disastrous, effects by giving away 3 points.
3 points, absolutely.
So corners or deep kicks. Yeah. So interesting. It's going to be really interesting. It was used in Sri Lanka also last weekend. This weekend in matches, and we saw a few of those, in-goal dropouts.
You mean in the school games? Yeah.
Yes, that's under 19 school games.
Great to see. Those are the laws which will continue in the Asia Rugby under 19 and under 20s when they play later this year. And moving on to the next law, Palak, if you can explain about the flying wedge, how this is going to be impacted.
So this law was basically introduced to ensure the safety of the tackler, who is usually faced with the combined force of more than 2 players. So this law basically says that we would be having to penalize the 3-person pre-bound mini scrum. So if we have more than 1 player pre-bound to the ball carrier, then we would have to penalize the same. This is an instance which we see a lot near the goal line, which is carried out in phases by the forward pack. We can have a clip played to see how it used to be done.
The blue body's on the floor. Shauna Brown looks to try and get a mitt on it. It's a boot in the face for her troubles. Then drives hard. There's another advantage for an offside being.
So over here we observe that there are two players bound, one on either side of the ball carrier. Moving forward, this will not be allowed and would be sanctioned for a penalty.
Yep. Palak, thank you very much. Clearly, it was explained by Palak, very, very with the video evidence. And as Palak said, it's mainly World Rugby has brought this in. Otherwise, defending play. Imagine one defending player has to tackle, run into three attacking players, and this is the very reason why World Rugby has brought this in, thinking of safety of the players, defending player who's going in for a tackle.
Absolutely, yes. We have witnessed so many head injuries and neck injuries. So this all will reduce the number of injuries. So player safety once again is paramount. And moving on to the next one, Leo, if you can explain about the lower limb clearance for us.
Yes, according to the rugby now, the player safety is the priority. Okay, so as we know, in the clean out, there's a lot of foul play, especially the cleaner use the shoulder or aim the juggles lower limb or something like that. We can take first of all we check the video of the using the shoulder.
Connor sees there's no short side defender and goes for it, which I like to see that variety in attack, but he's got to have support with him. Ken Owens there is too slow to the ruck. He's got to be.
Okay, this is very dangerous because you use the shoulder to contact with their hand. And second, we check the cleaner tackle the lower limb.
The Weber option on the other side as well, so and maybe that's symptomatic of being sitting down for 10 minutes and just losing the pace of the game a bit. Justin, I don't know, but
good point.
He did.
Because that the action, the defending team is easy to clean out or the attacking team is easy to clean out the defender. So that's why they can dominate the ball, they can keep the ball. But this is totally not allowed now.
Yep, Leo, absolutely. So the law has been brought in again, thinking of the player safety, and there were too many injuries of players charging in on the side, especially, and then no arm, just with the shoulder they are going in and bringing the players down. So this is the very reason that been introduced, and that we will you will be seeing more and more yellow cards coming out in incidents like this time to come, so that it will help the game as well as player injuries will be minimized with this new law coming into effect.
Yeah, but not only yellow card, but red card.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so at contact, it also depends on the impact of the contact as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. We discussed 4 laws, and the final one, Palak, if you can explain about the latching.
Yeah. So this is basically in continuation to the wedge formation that we talked about. So now World Rugby just allows one player to latch onto the ball carrier. So this law basically signifies what requirements the pre-latch player must have, which is particularly they must stay on their feet and they must not be in front of the ball carrier. We observe 2 clips to explain the following.
Better that time for James Moore. Now, can the Japanese get their try?
Dummy them all set up, and he just good leg drive and good latch on top of him. And it looks like who's it? It's Courtney Laws there, who's Toby Falatau, who kind of missing.
So in this clip, we've observed number 21 blue. He was a pre-latched player. He was in front of the ball carrier. The try would be disallowed here, and it will be a penalty against them.
Again, Palak, it is again safety measure, but also there's another reason for that. What they say is, the players, the latcher too has to be on their feet. It's like having played to the breakdown at the tackle or ruck. You need to be on your feet rather than going off feet and diving in. So
Correct.
that's another
Absolutely.
reason why they brought this in, so that there'll be more discipline, and also players, to encourage the players to stay on their feet rather than going and killing the ball, depriving the contestant from playing the ball. A fair contest, basically.
Wonderful indeed. So these are some key important things that Asia rugby teams especially wants to know, because the Division 3 will be kicked off very soon, and also Korea versus Hong Kong will be played for that all important World Cup qualifier on the 9th of July as well. And I just want to ask your experience, Palak, in terms of these laws tried and tested in the Indian region. How impactful was that? What was the feedback is like?
So we've used it in a few of our university games that happened 2 months back. And it's interesting to observe that now it becomes the responsibility of the player to understand the nitty gritties of the law and to be able to use the skill sets of kicking, specifically talking about the 50-22, knowing that the Indian players have those skills. So, in order to observe and make use of the time and space and use it to their advantage to retain possession of the ball, I feel like it's going to be really, really beneficial for a team with good skill sets of kicking.
Leo, what about you? You were in Bangladesh. Were they did they try and test in terms of their local games?
Yes, a very good opportunity for me to work with the Bangladesh people. It's a very new country for the rugby, and they still they are full member of Asian rugby, but they are not. They are a social member of the world rugby. People there is very new, but they're very need to play the rugby. So I think the development in the Bangladesh will be very, very good. And they also have their first test match against the Nepal. And also that their match official is growing up. Okay, they are growing up. So I think it's very good that Bangladesh can join the big Asian rugby family. That I think probably a few years later, the Bangladesh will be very strong in their rugby. As their cricket? Their cricket is strong, right?
Their
Pretty
cricket is
much,
very
yes.
strong. Yeah, they are
Yeah.
playing in West Indies now, and
Yeah.
yeah, Leo, we also look for them to be
Yeah.
upcoming nation in Asian
Yeah.
region for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Dilroy, you were in Pakistan. You were working closely with the Pakistan, and they did play against Thailand in Division 1. And how was the setup is there in terms of new law implementation?
It was the ARC Division 2 competition, and they lost their first game to Thailand, and then they beat Thailand in their second game on aggregate. They won the championship. So
I
Pakistan
must say that
Rugby.
that was a fairy tale finish, Dilo. It's like Pakistan playing cricket. One ball, you need 6 runs, and they scored that try, all important try
I
in the
know that
last
was in
minute.
the extra time. Also, during injury time, they scored their try. And there was a big crowd watching the match at the Lahore Stadium, Gaddafi Stadium, next to Gaddafi Stadium, where the ICC, the cricket headquarters of Pakistan, next to that, and big stadium. And then there was a fairly large crowd watching the game. And hats off to Pakistan Rugby. I've seen Pakistan played their first game. I refereed, in fact, when Pakistan played India in historical match 19 years ago. And from there to now, I thought they've improved tremendously. And then also they have very good structure in their rugby system, with development officers and technical officers, 18 of them, and the match officiating, and then the coaching, plus strength and conditioning. All those strands, they have people coming in. And other thing is, we had the educator program last week, and it was interesting. So many educators, people participated, and 13 of them were credited as educators in different strands from Pakistan. So as Leo said, not only Bangladesh, have many new countries who have started playing rugby in Asia. Countries like Syria, even Lebanon. Then we have Iran playing rugby football. So many countries have started playing in West Asia and also Central Asia, which is good for Asia rugby and then for the world rugby.
Absolutely wonderful news to hear from you in terms of what was going through in Pakistan and Bangladesh, India, and also the rest of the Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We hope these laws will be very useful where it's the Asia Rugby return to play, as far as return to play is concerned from next month. And once again, thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.